Dear learners, welcome to EPG Pathshala. Today, we shall be taking module number 6 titled Special Interest Tourism Demand under the paper Special Interest Tourism. Dear learners, after studying this module, you will be in a position to understand the concept of needs, wants and demand and types of demand in special interest tourism. Know the factors affecting demand for special interest tourism. Define forecasting and methods of forecasting demand. Cost and benefits of special interest tourism as a product. Let's introduce the module. SIT as a tourism product is an amalgam of both tangible and intangible features. Being a product, it must be offered to the market for catching the attention, acquisition, use or consumption, and it must satisfy some needs and wants of the users or consumers. Being a service-based product, SIT has certain features like it is a form of attraction. It should have some basic facilities to cater the needs of the travelers. It must be approachable by various means and it should have some image and should be charged for its services from the travelers. When we are talking about SIT in terms of tourism product, it means that the destination is going to offer something to tourists in the name of duration, planning of a sophisticated itinerary and its implementation, arrival and departure points need to highlight it. Some form of accommodation is also required for night stay. Restaurants are required for enjoying multi-cuisine. Nightlife and other ways of spending evening time is also required. A shopping place for souvenirs is also important to signify the need of remembrance of the destination, and in the last but not the least, the attitude of the locals is of prime importance. In the sight of tourist, a special interest tourism is a physical form of commodity which is supposed to be enjoyed by the tourists. The example may be anything from yoga and meditation tourism to leisure tourism. The destinations identified as special interest tourism has some cultural uniqueness and every tourist experiences it while visiting such destination. Rajasthan is showing its capacity and capability in the form of cultural destination. Special interest tourism is associated with some tagline and gets converted into an image. As soon as a product gets converted into an image, hardly it takes time to be considered as the status of a brand. Medical tourism is an emerging form of special interest tourism in India. Due to so many factors like price, availability of doctors, equipments, services, few super specialty and multiple specialty hospitals have gained their popularity as a brand, defining needs, wants and demand. After reading these terms, needs, wants and demand, it seems that all these terms are similar in meaning. But when it comes to economics, there is a vast difference. Needs are defined in economics as the basic needs required by human being for their survival. This includes air, water, food, shelter, etc. Wants are the advanced form of needs, i.e. desire for water has been substituted by mineral water, cold drinks, coconut water, etc. Demand is defined as an ability to spend to purchase a product at a given price and at a given period of time. It can be illustrated through this example, like purchasing a car can be want, but when we are in a position to purchase, like having enough money in hand, then it is our demand which is going to be fulfilled by using the services of the car. Special interest tourism is also associated with it. Many travelers dreaming of visiting historical and cultural destinations of the world, but half of them get success in achieving because they have money to purchase. The package tours and those who do not have money are deprived of visiting such destination. Therefore, a demand for special interest tourism has 7 essential features which are discussed as 1. Desire for a destination. 2. Ability to pay for it. 3. Willingness to pay for it. 4. Quality purchased. 5. Purchased at a given price. 6. Purchased for a specific given time. 7. Purchased from a given place. Types of demand. Main types of demand are as under. 1. Price demand. It shows the relationship between the price and demand of a package tour of any SIT destination considering other things being equal. It indicates that the quantity of product package tour has been purchased at different price level. 2. Income demand. It measures the relationship between income of the consumer and quantity demanded for package tour and other things remaining the same. 3. Cross demand. It expresses the relationship between the quantity demanded of good and the price of the related good. Why? Other things remaining the same. This is further divided into 2 parts. Substituted. Substituted demand expresses that when there is a rise in the price of good Y, say coffee, the demand for goods X, say tea, is raised. Similarly, then there is a fall in the price of Y, say coffee, the demand for X, the tea, also falls. When the price of the good Y, coffee, increases, the quantity of good X, tea, also increases. Complementary demand. The example can be sugar and tea. If there is a fall in the type of price of one good or Y or sugar, there will be rise in the demand for another good X or tea. Conversely, a rise in the price of Y will bring a fall in the demand for X. 4. Composite demand. As the name suggests, it refers to the demand for one commodity in order to satisfy 2 or more wants. For example, electricity. This satisfies the demand for factory, railways, agriculture, etc. 5. Direct and derived demand. When a commodity is demanded for its direct consumption, it is called direct demand. Example are ready-to-eat items like pizza, burger, cloth and pan. Deriveds refer to the demand for one commodity as a result of demand for another. Example is demand for bricks, cement, timber, iron, etc. is derived as these are required for house construction. It is also denoted by the name of joint demand. Competitive demand. Demand for substitutes is known as competitive demand. Substituted are those goods which can be used for one another. For example, change in the price of thumbs up will attract the demand for Limca. 7. Consumers goods and producers goods. Such goods which are meant for final consumption are called as consumer goods. Examples are houses to be moved in, ready-made food item, ready-made clothes, etc. Producers goods are used for production of other goods such as machines, tools, raw materials. 8. Perishable and durable goods demand. Perishable goods are those which can be consumed only once, because if they are not consumed within a specific time frame, they are perished, while in contrary to it, durable goods are those which can be used more than once over a period of time. For example, sweets, breads, milk and milk products are perishable, consumers good. 9. Actual, potential and deferred demand. Actual demand means when a consumer has consumed the product. Potential means he is capable and able to purchase the product. And deferred means he has postponed his trip for a certain period of time. This study comes from the part of consumers. Factors affecting demand for special interest tourism. There are many factors that affect the demand for special interest tourism, and their description is given below. A. Mass tourism. The emergence of special interest tourism has been just because of the negative impacts of mass tourism. The conventional form of tourism contributed negative impacts in the socio-cultural aspects and environment, which resulted into motivating researchers to identify certain new avenues or niche in tourism arena so that tourists may be given some new experiences. This brought into the emergence of new form called SIT or special interest tourism. B. Choice of destination. Special interest tourism gave full option of multi-choice of destination to its visitors. The visitor may choose any destination of their choice and can plan their holidays accordingly. The traditional or conventional form of tourism has become obsolete and presently exists niche form tourism. C. Disposable income. Tourist in present time is more demanding and cares about the facilities over the destination. They have more disposable income, and DINK, double income no kids group, has been proved to be a boon to tourism. D. Mobility. With the development of advancement in the means of transport, the travel has become very smooth. The expansion of air travel, introduction of luxury trains, AC and Volvo coaches, small cars has started giving time-bound and quality services to the passengers, and this has resulted into the increase of tourist movement. E. Paid holidays. The government and private sector has the scheme of LTC, leave travel concession, and this push factor has also contribution in the movement of the travelers. Few public-private partnership firms are motivating their employees for paid holidays, and they have a separate financial budget for this. F. Zeal, enthusiasm and passion for tourism. Few special interest tourism have developed themselves in such a manner that the service providers have initiated about giving price tag for weekdays and weekend days. The massive rise in travelers in case of Uttarakhand, Himachal, Pune, Mahabaleshwar, Panchgani, Lonavala, Khandala, Mahabalipuram, Pondicherry, Mysore, Ooty are some of the examples of special interest tourism who are attracting travelers on weekdays. G. Age factor. Age is the prime component in tourist movement. The working personnel in the IT sector, government sector, MNC are the main centers of attraction for many destinations like Rishikesh, Haridwar, Manali, Mussoorie, Dhanolti are receiving the tourists who are in the age group of 25 to 30. H. Professional and business factors. The business firms interested in expansion of their business, arranging and fixing meetings, organizing conferences are preferring the destinations which are less popular and have ability to cater the needs of such professionals and business people. The meetings organized by pharmaceutical companies are following these trends. I. Government policy. Special interest tourism is emerging just because of government policy, because government is putting a lot of effort in the market research for new destinations. They are coming out with marketing and promotional schemes for those destinations, investing money through PPP model and overall managing destinations. J. Technology. The world is moving so fast and the technology is one of the prime components in making it so. The technology is also influencing people for special interest tourism because in this world we all are connected together with social form of media. Facebook group, WhatsApp group, Instagram, Twitter, etc. have become a place of sharing knowledge where every user shares some form of information, and in this connection, tourism is not untouched. The travel loving followers share the image of beautiful destination and it motivates others to follow and visit the same destination. K. Pleasing weather. The best of tourism is that this activity is pursued in an environment which is soothing and favorable. The climatic conditions must be as per with the requirement of the visit, like snowfall can be seen when there is a favorable climate, or Goa is pleasant in the month of December when there is sunshine. Demand forecasting. Forecasting means peeping into the future for business planning and expansion. Demand forecasting means the technique of estimating the demand of the product in the immediate or distant future. It is the responsibility of the production manager of the firm to estimate the consumption and then place the order for production. If the consumption of the product is not in the same ratio in which it was estimated, then it will be difficult for them to go ahead with the production because the product will be blocked in the way. Forecasting demand is not an easy task, but it employs some scientific procedures for getting best kind of results. There are two types of forecasting, active and passive. Active forecasting can be described as when the firms are likely to accept future changes in the action, while passive forecasting is based on the assumption that the firms does not change the course of their action. Purpose of demand forecasting. There are various purposes of forecasting demand which are discussed below. A. For implementing appropriate production policy. The firms follow the rules of neither overproduction nor underproduction. For maintaining inventories. The purchasing of raw material in such a time when the prices are low. C. To set sales target. The forecasting helps production managers to set their target sales and achieve them in accordance with the changing pattern of the demand and extent of competition among them. D. Financial planning. Cash is required for production operation and the forecasting helps them in identifying the needs of the cash. E. New product planning, expansion and modernization. The forecasting also helps in planning for a new product which can compete in the market and beat its competitor and consolidate its position. F. Manpower planning. Forecasting helps in identification of skilled, semi-skilled and unskilled manpower requirement for the new type of job responsibility. Supply in tourism. To define tourism supply, it can be said that those elements which are essential in making a tourism product, package tour, and that must satisfy the needs and wants of a tourist. Supply in tourism is a composite effort initiated by key service providers like hoteliers, airlines, local taxi operators, government and individual etc. and extents of natural and man-made features or attractions. The tourism supply focuses on attraction, accessibility and amenities. Attractions are of prime importance because it is the pros and cons of the tourism. Accessibility denotes every kind of transport services used in while approaching destinations, and amenities are the comforts and ease required by the guest at the destination. The accommodation, fooding, entertainment and leisure activities are the part of tourism supply. All these services are binding together to make a complete supply. Supply in tourism comprises of the following. A. Supply in tourism is a composite product in the form of a package tour, which is to be supplied to the visitor, and it may include non-characteristic tourism product. B. The products meant for tourists' consumption may be consumed by non-tourist consumers also. Features of supply of tourism. There are various distinguished features of supply in tourism, which are discussed as A. Intangibility. The products and services which are supplied in tourism are intangible in nature because such services are being experienced. B. Variability. The services offered in tourism supply are full of variations. No two hotels are similar. No two travel agents are identical, and the services of travel agent may vary from person to person. Inseparability. The supply in tourism stresses that the services cannot be separated from its provider. The consumers will have to reach the source to avail the services. D. Perishability. The supply in tourism is liable to perish if it is not being consumed on time and date for which it was to be consumed. Services can't be stored for a day. E. Absence of ownership. Supply in tourism dismisses the concept that consumer will claim the ownership. F. Many players. The supply in tourism is a composite effort taken by many players like hoteliers, airlines, travel agents, destination management companies, guides, local taxi operator, souvenir providers and many more. G. Seasonality factor. The supply in tourism is based on seasonality factor because the movement of the tourist can't be ensured whole of the year. There is always a peak and lean season which is determined by the number of tourists received. Factors affecting supply. There are many factors that affect the supply of a service or commodity in a particular market, and they are discussed below. A. Seasonality factor. The movement of the tourist is based on seasonality because it is the climatic condition which motivates tourists to choose a particular destination. When there is a high movement of tourists over a destination and supply in a number of rooms, means of transport, restaurants, part-time jobs, etc. increases, and when there is a less number of tourists or decline in the number of tourists, the services are withdrawn in terms of manpower, discounts in room rent, transport facilities, etc. B. Government policy. It is the government policy which decides the carrying capacity of a destination. If the policy of the government restricts the number of tourists to a certain figure, the supply will get affected. C. Political disturbance. Political instability also affects tourism supply because the nations indulges into civil wars, conspiracy, are facing the challenge of tourist inflow, and as a result many airlines withdraw their services. Hotels wind up their business and travel companies shuttering down their services. D. Taxation and subsidies. Taxation on output, sales, imports, etc. affect the supply. Too many taxes levied on the hotel services, airline services, travel services, government taxes are making the package cost high, and as a result the number of tourists decline. E. Prices of related services. The supply is affected in tourism when prices of any component of tourism services are increased. Like the increase in the fuel charges will affect the cost of the transportation and sightseeing. F. Price factor. The cost of package tour decides the turnover of tourism business. As the cost is very high, the limit of the tourist will be restricted. And if the cost of the package will be affordable, the turnover will be high. G. Goals. The supply is also based on the goals decided by the company. If the company want to gain huge profit, the supply will be as per the direction, and if the firm want to earn satisfaction, the supply will be a qualitative service. H. Number of sellers. The supply is also affected by the number of suppliers in the market. If there are less suppliers, supply will be restricted. If there are more suppliers, the number will be increased accordingly. Dear learners, let's summarize this module. Specialist interest tourism as a product has some features like perishability, lack of ownership, intangibility, variability, a composite product inseparability, which is similar to other tourism product. Being a product, it must be offered to the market for consumption, and in this way it creates some form of demand. There are certain factors that affect demand, out which money, time, weather, government, policy, choice of destination are some of the prime factors. There are various methods of demand forecasting, because exact forecasting can contribute into financial planning. Inventory maintenance, setting of sales target, new product planning, and manpower planning. Supply in tourism is done for making profit and is affected by so many factors like seasonality, government policy, political disturbance, taxation and subsidies, price goals, number of sellers, etc. There are certain pricing policies implemented in special interest tourism similar to other products. Some common policies prevailing are cost plus method, growing rate pricing, loss the leader price, customary price, follow the leader price, cycling price, administrative price, stay out price, psychological price. Special interest tourism also need cost and benefit analysis, because being a project, it should be measured on various parameters, and if it gets a green signal, then the government should initiate it for further development. Thank you.